Hi everybody, it's Rowan Smith with the Mortgage Center. It's been a little while since I did a post and I've been busy cleaning up a lot of problems, and I figured that this would be a great time for me to do a blog on specifically targeted towards realtors for things to do during the offer process or regarding contracts and whatnot that will make life infinitely easier for me if I'm trying to do financing for you, or for any of the banks that are trying to do financing with you. So the first thing has to do with contracts and signatures. There's a number of financial institutions that insist that the contract signatures be witnessed. Now, I know the real estate board doesn't require that every single contract signature be witnessed. They'll allow it to be unwitnessed, but the banks want it witnessed in many, many cases, and CIBC is particularly strict on this matter. So you must have all witnessed lines filled out and signed. The next thing is a property condition disclosure statement. Oftentimes, if the person's never seen the property, the seller has never seen the property, maybe because it's been an investment property, or they bought a rental 5 years ago and they haven't been inside of it and they can't answer a lot of the questions, we still need something to show that there is in fact been a property condition disclosure statement has in fact been issued. If I go back to them and say, oh no, there isn't one, but there has to be, oftentimes the contract will specifically make mention of the fact that a PCDS makes up a component of this contract, so we have to provide it. If there is no way they can answer those questions, have them just throw a line through it, put never lived in, and sign it. That's better than me not having anything because I go to the bank and the bank says, what are we hiding? Is it a grow up and they just don't want to put that down, or past grow up or meth lab or anything of that nature. So property condition disclosure statements, even if they're going to be blank, we still need them. Subject removal deadlines. Try to line them up not on a Saturday or Sunday. I get this constantly where we get a contract, a subject removal date is set for a Saturday, which is no better than the Friday. So getting that extra day on the weekend doesn't really help us for financing anyway. It doesn't really help us because the banks aren't going to be open to work with us. If you're going to go for Saturday, you might as well go for Monday. And on that note, be cognizant of when holidays are. We've been having a lot of contracts come in lately, especially during the May long weekend with the subject removal date on the actual holiday, which again, I can't have a bank look at anything, so it might as well have been the Friday before, which doesn't help anybody. Be particularly cognizant during the negotiation time and during the excitement and the back and forth on the prices. You'll have the subject removal deadline and it will be set for, say, June 14th. And as the dates progress and the negotiation takes a few days, no one ever bumps that date out. And then once we finally get it accepted, we have 1 day or 2 business days to get an approval done, which might be possible, but it might not, depending on which bank the client has to go with. So just make sure that as the negotiation proceeds and as it gets further and further along in the contract negotiation process, that the subject removal dates are being bumped out correspondingly so that you still have a number of good days in there. Lastly, when it comes to strata documents, if you have a listing and you're typically, the protocol in this market being such as it is, realtors don't usually order the strata form B and all the strata documentation when they take the listing. In a perfect world, that would be the case, but I understand there's some cost to do that, so it's not always in your best interest, especially if you feel that the owner has listed it too high and would not list lower and you don't think it's actually going to go through. That said, if it's a competitively priced property, either A, order the Form B and all the other strata documentation up front, or you have to be willing to pay for it on a rush basis. I had 3 deals in the last month where my buyers were buying a property, the listing agent did not order up the strata documents, and then of course it was part of our contract. Once that buyer requested them, it then took 7 days because the realtor didn't want to pay the extra $100 or $50 or whatever it is for a rush. Now, had they ordered them initially, there wouldn't have been that fee. Of course, that's a separate issue. But had they ordered them on a rush basis, we would have had them in 24 to 48 hours and there would have been no problem. Instead, we had to extend, and it really annoyed the sellers and the buyers involved when it could have been easily taken care of by just getting those documents on a rush basis. So those are the things that I consistently see I think that realtors could do a lot better of. The realtors that I work with on a regular basis all are very good at this, but as I meet new people and newer agents coming into the field, this is something that will come back and make your life a lot easier if you can follow these tenets. For the Mortgage Center, I'm Rowan Smith.